James Coleman was a man of routine. He liked his coffee black. He read the morning paper front to back. Every day was much like the last. Predictable, safe. He worked a steady job at the local library. Books were his quiet companions. He knew their secrets. He knew their stories. But his own story was simple. Unremarkable, some might say. He found comfort in this simplicity. A life lived within well-defined lines. He was not a man for grand adventures, no mountains climbed, no oceans crossed. His world was the small town of Oak Haven, its quiet streets, its familiar faces. James knew them all. He had a kind smile for everyone, a gentle word. He was liked, respected, but perhaps not deeply known. He kept a part of himself hidden, not out of malice, but out of habit. His evenings were spent with simple pleasures, a crossword puzzle, an old movie on television. Sometimes a walk through the park as dusk settled. The day began like any other, a Tuesday. Overcast skies threatened rain. James sat at his usual table, the corner booth at Maggie's diner. His coffee steamed beside a half-eaten plate of eggs. The diner buzzed with morning chatter, the clatter of cutlery, the low hum of conversations. He was reading a book. Its cover was worn, its pages dog-eared. He seemed lost in its world, oblivious to the one around him. Then the payphone on the wall rang, a shrill, insistent sound. It cut through the diner's noise, heads turned, annoyed glances. Payphones were relics. Who used them anymore? The phone rang again, and again. James did not look up at first. It was not for him, it couldn't be. He had a cell phone, everyone did, but the ringing persisted. A waitress gestured towards him. "James, I think it's for you," she called out, her voice laced with surprise. He looked up then, confusion on his face. Slowly, he marked his page. He slid out of the booth. He walked towards the ringing phone. Each step seemed hesitant, as if approaching something unknown, something unsettling. He picked up the receiver. His hello was quiet, barely audible. The call lasted only 17 seconds, a breath. James Coleman walked out of Maggie's diner. He stepped into the gray morning. The threatened rain had not yet started, but the air was heavy. He did not go to his car. It sat parked across the street. Instead, he turned left. He walked down Main Street. His pace was steady, purposeful, as if he knew exactly where he was going, or as if he were being pulled by an invisible string. Witnesses saw him, a few early shoppers, the postman making his rounds. They said he looked pale, distracted. He did not acknowledge their greetings. This was unusual. James always had a nod, a friendly wave. Today he seemed to be in a world of his own, a dark, private world. He walked past the bakery, past the hardware store, past the town square. He just kept walking. His apartment was found undisturbed, the door locked. Inside, everything was in its place. The bed was made. A book lay open on the nightstand. The police investigation began swiftly. Oak Haven was not a town accustomed to mysteries. Missing persons were rare. Foul play, rarer still. They interviewed everyone at the diner. They retraced his last known steps. They searched the woods bordering the town. They brought in dogs. The dogs found no scent beyond the edge of Main Street. It was a dead end, a frustrating, baffling dead end. The 17-second call became the focus. But the payphone yielded no clues. No fingerprints of value, no caller ID. It was an old model, untraceable, a ghost call from nowhere. They checked James's cell phone records, his bank accounts, his computer, nothing unusual. No large withdrawals, no strange emails. His digital footprint was as ordinary as his life. Or so it seemed, until the messages. Days after he vanished, cryptic messages appeared, sent to two of his closest friends, from an unknown email address. With few facts, theories bloomed like desert flowers after a rare rain, wild, colorful, and often without solid ground. Some whispered of secret organizations, groups operating in the shadows. Had James stumbled upon something he shouldn't have, a hidden truth, a dangerous secret? The 17-second call could have been a warning, or a summons, from people who did not tolerate loose ends, people who could make a man disappear. Others believe James himself had orchestrated his vanishing, a staged event. Perhaps the quiet librarian craved a different life, a life of adventure, of anonymity. The cryptic messages could be part of his plan, a way to throw off pursuers, or a game he was playing. But why leave everything behind? His wallet, his keys, his phone. It didn't fit the profile of a man carefully planning a new start. It felt more like an abduction, or a sudden desperate flight. Could it have been a discovery? James worked in a library, surrounded by old books, ancient texts, local histories. What if he found something? Years have passed since James Coleman vanished. The date today is May 30th, 2025. The mystery endures. Oakhaven has tried to move on, but a shadow lingers over the town. A question mark hangs in the air. What happened to the quiet librarian? Who made that 17-second call, and why? These questions echo, unanswered. They haunt the diner, the library, the empty spaces he once occupied. His friends still meet, but there's an empty chair. The police file remains open, cold, gathering dust. Occasionally, a new detective will look at it, hoping for a fresh perspective, a missed clue, but the trail is old, the scent gone. The 17 seconds of that call are frozen in time, a tiny window into a vast unknown. What words were spoken? What information conveyed? Was it a threat, a plea, an instruction? We may never know. The silence on the other end of that line is now permanent. For James's family, the pain is a constant companion, a dull ache that never truly fades. They live in a state of suspended grief, no closure, no certainty.